You know, maybe science has gone too far this time. Welcome to Fuzzy Walrus Industries, I'm Walcom, and today, I've got a Nerf Mortar. Again! Now, some of you might be getting deja vu if you saw my video last summer on Barrett's Air Zone Rocket Storm. This thing looks suspiciously similar to that. So, if you were really looking for one of those Air Zone Rocket Storms and realized how incredibly rare and impossible they are to come by, well, Lightake's got you covered. Special thanks to them for sending this off to me for review, because it's a mortar. And I know a lot of you were looking forward to this because just about every single one of you messaged me, commented, and posted all over the place about this darn thing. And yes, I knew it existed, and yes, I now have one. Thank you very much, Lightake. What is this thing? Well, like I already said, it's a Nerf mortar. It's a mortar thing. You take the thing, you put it in the shell, and then you put it in here, and it flies off. And it's pretty cool. It's a mortar. Like, there's not a whole lot like that. I mean, you could build one, yeah, or you could just buy one from Lightake for like 40 bucks. Might be a little bit less, might be a little bit more, kind of depends. Take a look at the launcher itself. This is what you get. This is what launches your foam rockets. And it is, well, it's got a lot of places where it can swivel and move, and it's all army green. It's got a nice ball-jointed base plate right here. It's a hollow tube with a spike at the bottom of it. It looks like a mortar. So, pro tip, if you're playing in a public area, you might want to be a little bit careful because somebody could mistake this for an actual mortar. That being said, if you're playing on private property, a little bit of a matte finish and some spray paint will make this thing look like an actual mortar. So it works both ways. And then you get 3 of these weird looking rockets that are made out of like the softest foam ever. They're very similar to like the Nerf ball foam, that very, very spongy foam that tears really easily, but is otherwise pretty durable. I mean, it will absorb some kind of liquids and stuff, so if you're playing and it lands in water or something, you might have an issue, but it's a foam rocket. It is a little bit wider than a Nerf Demolisher rocket. The Nerf Demolisher rocket is a lot more, a lot rigid. This, not so much, and there's plastic mechanisms inside because the entire point of this, every single propulsion mech that this thing does, is housed in the rocket itself. So what you do is you take the included shell, and then you take the rocket, and you just kind of go like that. And now your rocket's primed. And then you take it out of the shell. You don't actually use the shell for anything more than that, which is a little disappointing. However, then you take the rocket, and you drop it into the thing, and it pops out. And that's your Nerf mortar. Now, what's the velocity like? And that's where we answer some pretty important questions. What are you buying this for? Are you buying this to use it as like an actual mortar? You want to have an area of effect like 100-something feet away and absolutely Shrek some people Call of Duty style? Do not buy this. That's not what this thing does. In fact, the range is about 1/10 of that. It's generous to say this thing reaches 15 feet with a decent angle. Not exactly great, which kind of sucks. If you were expecting something incredible, that's not what this is. However, again, if you were expecting something very similar to the Air Zone Rocket Storm, it's basically identical. Even it might be a little bit more durable than that, because the Air Zone Rocket Storm, every single time we primed that thing, felt like it was gonna break. And if it does break, you're SOL. This, not so much, because of course you could just get more of the things. Like, they don't sell them separately, but they might in the future, and it could be really cool. It's basically for if you have an objective in a game mode. You want to have something fun to do in objective, like maybe have the rockets around on the field. One team has to go grab the rockets, bring it to the mortar, and blow something up. That would be fun, and this does in fact do that. But again, if you're expecting this thing to go anything more than like 15 feet, you're pretty screwed. And I know some of you are like wanting to be like super bazooka guy and have it on your shoulder and be like, ha-ha, and drop it. It doesn't work. It has to be a pretty steep angle for this to actually trigger, which is a bit disappointing. I'm sure you could get it to work in some fashion, but it definitely does not work like that. And if you're wondering, this is what the inside of the rocket looks like. I have already destroyed one for the sake of science. I have 2 others, doesn't really matter. And it's an interesting mechanism. It basically just has a really thin plastic catch at the front of it. And when you put that in there, it's a little sticky. Come on, you can do it. Just get it done. There we go. It's a little bit sticky, but once you get it there, you can see the tube is empty and it's all caught up in here, and this thing seems to be some kind of trigger. It actually is really good at being stable and not going off unless it's dropped into the tube. And with a little bit of foam missing, works a lot better in my opinion. But opening this thing up for modification, it may be possible. That being said, I don't think you can do it without destroying this. However, now we know its secrets. Would it theoretically be possible to make your own rockets with more powerful springs and have them work in this? Yeah, totally. I think that's a reasonable assumption to make. If you just have rockets with like K26 in them and strong catches that can work the same exact way and drop it in there and it explodes and flies up in the air, and I think it would totally work. The actual diameter of the tube is just perfect enough for a demolisher rocket to fit down in there, but since a demolisher rocket is tiny, that's not exactly the mechanism you're going to want to use. But it has some potential. It's not going to be for everyone. Like I said, really, the one true use for this thing is to use it for some kind of cool game mode. If that doesn't interest you, then it's not going to work. If you're like 6 years old, you want a cool little mortar thing to play with, this will work. In fact, you'll have a lot of fun with it. If I had this Christmas when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, I'd have a lot of fun with it. Now after that, it'd be like my Maverick shoots farther. That's kind of disappointing. But it's not a mortar, and that's what this thing is. It's a mortar. It's a lot of fun, and again, if you want to pick one up, there's a link down in the description below where you can pick one up from Lightake for whatever it's going at this current time. When I checked, it was $41, but it could be less, it could be more, it kind of depends. But let me know what you think about the, if this thing has a proper name. I don't know it. I don't read Chinese, but let me know what you think about the mortar down in the comment section below. If you can find a use for this that I don't know, that would be great. I mean, if you really wanted to like put this tube on your back and drop a shell in there, that would be a lot of fun. But other than that, unless somebody 3D prints something amazing for it, we're kind of stuck with what we got. I'm Walcom. Thank you very much for watching this video. And of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different one. I don't know about you, this is reasonably different. It's a freaking mortar. I just gotta figure out how to become Gundam. Maybe science has gone too far this time.